Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to Doctor Who Revisited. It is time for the second Doctor. This is probably where I start to get a bit emotional. Second and third Doctor, I think. And then potentially again with the fifth. Because it's just really nostalgic. I know I've just watched classic Doctor Who, but it's just a really great idea. I really enjoyed it. And the first Doctor episode of this just went out onto YouTube and it's had a really good response, so thank you so much, guys. So I'm hoping they have interviews with Fraser Hines, and yeah, what's really good about it is it brings up moments that I've forgotten, because obviously I've seen the episodes once. I can't remember everything. I tell you all the time, guys, I have a memory like a sieve, so it brings up specific episodes that kind of like jolt my memory, and I love it. And we had David Tennant talking in the last one. I wonder if we'll have other doctors talking. I'm very excited, you know. Yeah, so let's go.
With Patrick Troughton's Doctor, in a way, the story really starts.
Whereas William Hartnell's first Doctor had been a gentleman of the universe, the second Doctor was a cosmic hobo. Played by Patrick Troughton, this Doctor was much smarter than he appeared, hiding a mischievous glint in his eye behind a Beatles mop top.
17 degrees? But this is serious. What's being allowed in the park for? It's 150.
11, will you minus 173?
1379? Excuse me. What a place is you?
He's much more of a buffoon, it would seem. I mean, a lot of the time that's a slightly dishonest buffoonery. He's using it to disarm people. Underneath it all, there's this steeliness and there's this brilliance.
Reminds me of the 11th.
For me, Patrick Troughton is one of my favourite Doctors. Maybe at times my favourite Doctor. He's just got such naughtiness. He's so mischievous and
mixed in with Jamie as well.
I don't know in any episode what he's going to do next.
The other side of Patrick's portrayal of the Doctor was, of course, the humour he brought to it, which, apart from being endearing, added such a completely other dimension to the character.
In the TARDIS with her.
Hey, it looks like a great big ball of ice!
Absolutely.
Oh! What is it? You're on my hand!
This show becomes more about the Doctor, I think.
This playful new Doctor must
Yeah,
have come as
Hartnell
something of a
paved the way,
surprise to
but
viewers.
it changed with the
his
second
rather more
Doctor.
dignified predecessor.
It would have been so easy, if you think about it, for them to say, his face will change slightly, we'll put another bloke in a white wig, and we'll have explained his slightly different features, and he'll carry on playing it roughly the same way.
true.
They didn't do that at all. I still don't know how they came to this conclusion, or how they knew this would work. They say, we'll make him completely different.
You know, William Hartnell's kind of stiff collars have disappeared. It's suddenly all soft lines and kind of baggy trousers. And it's a complete reinvention, and that's what makes it work, I think.
The clothes reflect this version of the Doctor. The first Doctor, very much the authority figure, very much sees himself as a senior man, whereas the Troughton Doctor has rejected that. He decided he won't be the guy in charge. He does everything to look like Charlie Chaplin. He does everything to look helpless and disarming. He is able to get involved, not in fighting, he doesn't do that, but in clowning and in physicality and leaping around with the curious way he uses his hands. Now, if you look at Matt Smith's Doctor and Patrick Troughton's Doctor, although they are just about as different as human beings can be, you can't help but see the continuity, and that's real and it's there. He saw the key that way. That's where the bow tie came from. That's where the hand moves came from. All came from the Patrick Troughton Doctor. He thought, I think that the key, what Matt always says about Patrick, is he's odd, but he doesn't ask you to think he's odd. He just is, you know. Well,
And then Jamie came along.
He was certainly not a woman. And it's quite unusual. He is the definitive Patrick Troughton companion, and they have a tremendous friendship.
Jamie was a Highlander who met the Doctor in 18th century Scotland.
He literally came on
Suddenly
screen
the
and
Time
stole
Lord
my
had what
heart.
he'd so far been missing, a best friend.
That's a mother of macrame, would you? Well, I'll
He
show
does a
you.
great Scottish accent, doesn't he?
Got to
as a young boy growing up in Glasgow, here, I'm going to switch now, all of a sudden sitting there going, oh, Mum, there's a guy in a kilt on Doctor Who.
Flight number 729
We're
from
not talking
Madrid.
about TARDIS. Oh,
What's that?
it's the way we got here.
You gentlemen wouldn't know anything about a police box, would you?
It's just what I'm saying.
I really think that our mode of conveyance is irrelevant. The important thing is that we've discovered a dead body out there, and we want to report it to someone in authority.
We were always looking for the humour of the show, so much so that when we did the Tomb of the Cybermen, that lovely thing that was not in the script is when we said, come along Victoria, and we grab each other's hands, and Patrick and I worked this out. Yeah, that's what the gag is.
I'd still be very careful if I were you. Very careful indeed. Come on, let's go, Joy. Come on, Victoria.
That's why our hands are slightly higher, because we didn't know where they were cutting. Normally you grab somebody's hand like that, but because we didn't know where the camera shot was, we sort of grabbed it on the hand.
A well-brought-up young lady from the 19th century whose father was killed by the Daleks.
They've had companions from the future, but generally speaking, they default to the present day. But, you know, the show is still in flux. They're still making up, so they get Jamie from the past and Victoria from the past. And for quite a long time, we have these three utterly relatable characters travelling on the TARDIS.
What are all these knobs?
What, these? Instruments. These are for controlling our flight.
Flight?
Well, yes. You see, we travel around in here through time and space. Oh, no. Don't laugh. It's true. Your father and Maxtable were working on the same problem, but I have perfected a rather special model.
A cat-suited, kung-fu fighting astrophysicist with a photographic memory. She wasn't just a match for Jamie. She was the first companion who considered herself smarter than the Doctor.
It's always the first time they ever consider the idea of, let's get somebody who is notionally as clever as the Doctor on the TARDIS.
She gave the Doctor a run for his money with her, and she would have said this as well, her brilliance.
This is the most advanced machine. Perhaps it can't answer the question.
Of course he can. The Doctor's almost as clever as I am.
Well, and of course, not only was she a genius, basically, she loved a bit of action as well.
Loved her outfit there.
They're discovered near a base on Earth, discovered in the ice.
David Tennant really does know a lot about Doctor Who, doesn't he? Like, he really is a fan.
A giant among prehistoric men. See the kind of armor he's got on? Yes. That's rather strange.
He also had several encounters with the steely Cybermen, everywhere from the moon to 1960s London.
I think my memories of them are very much a Patrick Troughton monster.
The 60s saw pioneering advances in surgery with the first artificial organ transplants.
They're probably one of the monsters that I find most terrifying, and I think it's very much to do with the blankness of the facial expression, and it's that sort of amorality and, you know, sort of the slit mouths, nothing's moving. They're just such brilliant monster design.
Look!
I think that Tomb of the Cybermen is probably up there in my top 3 or 4 Doctor Who episodes
I
ever.
think it is
And
for me as well.
It's such an extraordinary serial, particularly when they actually emerge from the tomb, and you just think,
Parade through the universe.
Of these metal silver men, not on a spaceship where you'd expect to see a silver robot, but actually in good old London. Now, again, discovering one of the archetypes of Doctor Who, which is juxtaposition, to give it its pretty boring and slightly poncy name, is you take, if you've got a big spacey thing, put it next to a thing that's not spacey, and it looks great. And for the first time since the Daleks, Doctor Who has invented an iconic foe that will remain in place throughout the series.
But actually, the Doctor we recognise today is much more Patrick Troughton's Doctor.
Yeah.
We've all sort of done our version, kind of what Patrick Troughton did.
Yeah.
He gave the show a way to keep going. He allows it to still exist. if Patrick Troughton hadn't done what he did so confidently and with such charm and so brilliantly, then I wouldn't be sitting here today.
I think it's so true that Hartnell started Doctor Who, right? But Troughton gave Doctor Who life. Watching that back made me really... I mean, I know how much I love the second Doctor, like I truly do, but it really reminded me of how strong the second Doctor was for me and his companions. Like, the second Doctor's companions, I would say, is the strongest run of companions for me, like even above the third Doctor, because the friendship he had with Jamie, Jamie and Victoria together, I think were my favourite. I just loved them. I absolutely adored them. Seeing clips of Tomb of the Cybermen again, like, oh gosh, I'm just so excited when I do a rewatch. How do I feel the second time round? Because I can sit here now and say third Doctor's my favourite, second Doctor's my second favourite. But when I do a rewatch, I think watching something for a second time will really tell me how I feel, because am I going to get bored the second time because I know what's happening? I don't know, but when I've seen that, it does make me think like, oh, are the second and third Doctor on par for me? I'm going to be very interested about how I feel when I see the third Doctor one. Am I going to cry? Potentially. But, because that's when we have like the Brigadier really come in unit, and I reckon that's what they'll focus on in the third Doctor Revisited. But the second Doctor is absolutely phenomenal. But I kept thinking in that when they recorded all of this, they were still on the 11th Doctor, and it really gives me goosebumps that they hadn't even discovered the 12th and the 13th Doctor yet, especially the 12th Doctor, because I love Capaldi. And it's just that exciting feeling of Doctor Who, of the joy that comes next. Like, I can sit here now and think, gosh, the excitement that must have been, like, I just don't know how to explain it, but the fact that they were still in the 11th Doctor reign, and the 11th, like, that to me is just, I just love Doctor Who. It's just such a joy. That whole, like, 10, 11 and 12 for me is a really happy, great place. And it just makes me excited to think that they hadn't even had Capaldi then, It's just, I just love Doctor Who. It's just great. Let me know your thoughts on the second Doctor. Let me know if you're not a fan of Tomb of the Cybermen. And I will be back very soon with the third Doctor Revisited.